Good morning, guys. I didn't get a chance to update the levels yesterday for you online or send out another video. Been a little busy, but here we go. I want to go over a couple things real quick and get right into what I'm looking for this morning and afternoon now. First thing first, here's a new bull flag that I'm watching that started forming the beginning of April. As you can see, all of the action so far has been within it. I mentioned that we might break out of it soon. We've started that process this morning. I'll get to that in a second. I want to remind you the blue lines here are macro levels, macro support and resistances that I found over the past year or two. They were done up over a year ago and they've come back into play. And as you can see, they've clearly been places of importance. Here we broke out from it and nearly back tested it twice. A lot of times levels won't get tested exactly, especially on the bottom, because they know where people are trying to go long. They want to liquidate a lot of people, build their position, accumulate before going up higher. That's institutional buying. We'll get more into that as we progress in my educational videos. Moving forward, again, this is the bull flag that I'm looking at now. This is a resistance, this is a support, this is the middle of the channel. Oftentimes can be very important. As you can see, this was very important overnight at 3 a.m. That's where we took off from. This was not touched since yesterday. So that just shows you the power of these bull flags. They're not a perfect science, and this will probably get adjusted after today's action. I assume we'll probably fall back within the range over here unless ES and the markets in US sell off a lot. That could push this up higher a lot more. But let's get more into the 45-minute now. I want to first finish up about yesterday and the setup that I took and the setups that were available. Here's a 45-minute chart. As you can see, as we get deeper, a couple rejections of this macro level before reclaiming it finally today. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tests before selling off over 100 points. We came back, we triggered through and pulled back. That's what I say when I want to see almost any setup. You want to see it trigger through where you'd want to go long, see it pull back, and then start pushing back up. So that would have been the perfect time to go long right here at 6:30 on a huge volatility, nearly 33-point candle, anywhere above, and it depends on your where you enter when you see it, but ideally what you would love to see is actually what happened, which is it triggered, pulled back, pushed through with force, you waited a little bit, consolidated around, and then literally pushed right off the level at 8 o'clock, and then you just want to go long a couple points above when you start seeing the momentum, maybe in this case at least 4 or 5 points above. Stop loss will be a little bit difficult to determine here. You'd have to kind of play it by ear. If I took a long somewhere around here, let's say 1073, I'm probably looking at a stop loss somewhere around maybe this low right here. I'd enter knowing that this could be very trappy, especially in a reclaim like this, so you might want to go smaller position or wait for a bigger pullback before entering. It's really tough when you enter. You want to be entered down here, and let's get back to that right now. So after we tagged this macro level yesterday at around 115, I had mentioned I had gone long on the field breakdown of this low. I entered somewhere around here, took most of my position up here, and then boom, we jumped up here. I didn't catch it because it happened within seconds. I started going back down. I sold more of my position before my stop loss initiated on the bottom here. So then afterwards, we sold directly down from the top here all the way to the bottom here. At the time, it was an exact tag of the level I had down here. You can see I went long kind of on a field breakdown of a low here. I'll go into a 15-minute in a bit. We could have gone long here as well. In hindsight, it probably would have been a safer bet. I went long off of the low here because of the direct level tag. So I was just assuming price is behaving and that we should get a reasonable bounce. Let's go to a 15-minute real quick just to show you. So this was a low, not the best. I mean, it's a low, you see, actually that is the low before we lost it. So from here directly all the way up here, we never lost this low. So that is the low technically. This is a more clearer low. You can call it a cluster of lows and go fail breakdown of both these and go a couple points above this. And then even if those weren't the situation, you want to play even safer, you could have gone the fail breakdown of this low right here. Clearly a nice low. So that was multiple options. Price usually gives you a second entry. A lot of times when you have a nice setup, the institutions want to get one more entry on it, so they'll shake out people and add their position. So for example, if you took the failed breakdown of this low, that would have been somewhere around here. That went for almost 40 points, came back down, dipped in below, probably took some stop losses out for people whose entry was here, and then pushed right back through that trigger. So the trigger was somewhere around, let's say right here. You went long, got those points. Your break even, you moved up here if you were risk averse, but realistically you should have sold 70-80% of your position here, another 10% over here, and only had 10 to 5% left as a runner. And you want to try to keep that open as much as possible, just so you can catch more of a trade if it keeps on going up. And in this case, it indeed kept on going up. We'll get to that in a second. So after the second entry, around 4:30, I set my levels around this time. This was kind of a dip in recovery of this level as well. You see we dipped below, try to push, dipped again, almost a mini failed breakdown. In a way, a lot of times dip in recoveries are like that if you look on a smaller time frame. Then we reclaimed this level. You can see we pushed through it, consolidated below, tried pushing a couple times, never really held it, but you could have still went long. Like even here is the 10-point candle through the level. You could have considered that a trigger. After this trigger started, you would have kept your position and finally taken off in the evening. As you can see, this was a reclaim level I had initially. We had tried pushing through earlier. We didn't quite make it here. We did finally push through here. And we triggered here. So you could have entered here a couple points above, and then this went off right away for 12 points. We tagged this level directly, sold back down. A lot of times when there's a reclaim level, it doesn't matter necessarily how much it goes up, but if it goes up even higher, better. But after it goes up past the reclaim level, it'll come back and offer you a second entry, and a lot of times it will be a dip and recover. Same thing here, failed breakdown entry, dip and recovery entry of the same level area. So just keep that in mind. That worked out great. This level was clearly getting tested as a reclaim. You could see 1, 2, 3, sold back down, nearly set up a failed breakdown until finally one more trap here at 3:15 a.m. Probably would have gone long here though, because that makes sense. You see how we went above this previous high? That's what you want to see ideally for the trigger after a hard reclaim. So 1, 2, 3, fourth test, went through the high we had. Even if it sold back down, you got to deal with a little drawdown, and afterwards we exploded for 30 plus points all the way to new highs. And you can see here we hit this level, pushed off of it. This level was a reclaim level, multiple tests until pushing through, a little more consolidation, had to have patience, and then boom, 16-point candle. When we triggered the macro level reclaim, I mentioned to you earlier in the video, multiple tests here to reclaim it, did not work. Finally, this one did. We pushed through, sold back a little bit, perfect, then started pushing up again at 6:30. You would have gone long, and that would have worked out beautifully. Now we're just kind of in no man's land, kind of consolidating sideways. I'm going to go to 5 minutes to show you from this area, just kind of dip and recover this. So let's see, right now, technically speaking, I could see us continuing to move up after this dip and recovery. Ideally, what I would love to see next will be instead maybe a mini failed breakdown of this low, tag this level, and then bounce back. Even better would be to tag this level and maybe dip below it and then continue up. Even better than all that will be a sell. I would love to just see a nice little pullback. Maybe, honestly speaking, right now I'm looking at this level right here. I'm looking at here for looking here to go long. I think this will be a nice amount of sell, probably about over 100 points almost from the top. So once we get there, I'm definitely considering a sell. A dip and recovery will be great. If not, then it'll be a direct level test. I'll show you real quick what that would look like. That's the harder way to go. You probably see, and you can see that is working out right now, what we just mentioned, but I'll show you in a second. Go something like, whatever happens, I'm not worried about the path it gets there technically, but once it gets here, bounces, and then take off. This is potentially like 2-3 mini failed breakdowns. It doesn't have to necessarily be like this. It could be like this. I want to see price accept that place before bouncing a little bit, so it gives me more confidence Let me just show you real quick on a 5 minute. We just mentioned that this could be a little dip in recovery, and that looks like the case you're getting right now. But again, this kind of move has already played out. I wouldn't chase it now. I'm looking for more pullback, more consolidation, sideways consolidation. Worst case scenario, or I guess the ultra bull case right now would be if we can get a tag over here, or even a dip in recovery at this level in case we don't make it all the way down here. Have a great day, guys.